some 4 presentations. So I proceed directly to the presentation and I call upon Femi from Nigeria.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Femi Adebola from Nigeria. Nelson Mandela, we all know, is the greatest leader to have ever emerged from the continent of Africa. He lived from 1903 to 2013. Yes. Right. Before I go on, let me just quickly share a story about Bimpe. Bimpe, a Tama, an unlucky teenager. Bimpe, at the age of 15 years, had to drop out of the secondary school back home in Nigeria, and because her parents could no longer afford her school fees. After that, she ended up being raped on her way from the farm one day, and Bimpe had no access to healthcare facilities throughout her pregnancy period. Eventually, Bimpe delivered at home and was attended to by a local traditional birth attendant. Bimpe kept on bleeding. Unfortunately, while on her way to the hospital, she died. The baby was brought to the hospital, while Bimpe herself was returned to the morgue. That particular episode stirred up something in me. Why should people not get justice for being raped? Why should people not have access to healthcare? If Bimpe definitely had access to healthcare, she would have survived. Now, that takes me to this topic, a focus on health inequalities and inequities. Now, next slide. What is the difference between equality and equity? Equality just means making access available to everybody, the same resources to everybody. Like they will say in Yoruba, Ori Ojo Ori Lo, meaning all heads are equal. Now, but equity actually means when you allocate the resources as needed, as seen in that picture. Whoever needs something is what makes available to the person. Next, please. Now, looking at this is just pictures depicting Africa. That is, the world, but that is Africa. We can see Africa right there. Africa has the highest incidence, the lowest life expectancy at birth, especially the sub-Saharan Africa, like what is obtainable in the Asian world, and then even right there in the Americas. They are very green, meaning their life expectancy is very high. But back in the sub-Saharan Africa, especially the Western region where I come from, Nigeria, and then the central area of Africa, it is really, really pale. And then we come to the maternal mortality ratio. Looking at Africa again, Africa is the darkest part of that part, meaning our mothers die from pregnancy-related issues. Next slide, please. Now, we've talked about inequality and equity. Looking at this, the age, sex, and age factors may contribute to inequalities in health. For example, I didn't choose to be born a black man, but of course, being a black man has predisposed me to some illnesses. But looking at every other thing, agriculture, that's the second to larger part, education, work environment, the living and working conditions, unemployment, water and sanitation, healthcare services, and housing. All these actually contribute to the inequalities, and I'm sure we are all distributed along those spheres in our different endeavors. So what are we doing to ourselves to make sure that we actually improve it? As an employer of labor, if you improve the working condition of your workers, definitely you've improved their quality of health. If in your own immediate environment you've been able to take care of yourself, you've also take care of your environment, you've been able to improve the quality of health. Exactly. Now, back home, for those of us who know a lot about South Africa, we heard of Philofipra. Philofipra is a train which was brought up in the 90s to make access to healthcare available to people in South Africa. The company had to partner with the government, whereby they use the same rail of South Africa, and then they deliver access healthcare to people on the rail lanes. The same way, I doctor in Nigeria. That's my own pet project with some of my friends. We've made access to education available to people. We've been able to utilize the power of the internet and the telecommunications, whereby people can access healthcare for free and talk to a doctor for free. And then finally, talking about equity, we are talking about leaving no one behind. It is our dream, not just in Africa, but all over the world, that no one is left behind in terms of healthcare services. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.